Dear listeners, welcome to the EcoCast podcast, where we discuss impactful and pressing environmental concerns.
Hi, Dr. Ved. Wow, pleasure to have you here, and a very warm good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, so just to give a brief intro about our today's speaker, Dr. Ved Prakash Ranjan is currently working as a senior project associate at CSIR-NEERI Nagpur, India. He has completed his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from BIT Sindri, Dhanbad. He has done his master's and PhD in environmental engineering from IIT Kharagpur. He has published more than 10 journal articles, which are published in a high impact, peer reviewed science journal of international repute and are widely cited. He has published 3 book chapters and has presented his research findings in various national and international forums. His research interests mainly focus on the formation, distribution, migration, and effect of microplastic in technical as well as environmental systems. His PhD work was on microplastics released from disposable paper cups, has gained significant national and international media attention, and was recognized by the Ministry of Education, the Government of India. Pleasure to have you, Dr. Ranjan, on our podcast show. Thanks for joining, and it's an absolute honor to have you here with us tonight. A very warm good afternoon again to you, first of all.
Thank you, Pratik, for inviting me in such a podcast scene. So I will, whatever the questions in your mind, just you ask me. Like I would like to, I will try to give all your queries as far as I can.
Perfect, Dr. Ranjan. So, Dr. Ranjan, the impact of microplastic has recently been observed. Which was actually present before too, but it was only in the past and current decade that the microplastic was rightfully deciphered, and more people have now become conscious, and they have changed their kind of lifestyle and to stay away from the harms of microplastic. And not just we humans actually, but also the other biotic and abiotic ecosystem like plants, animals, and even let's say soil. So the roots of microplastic have engulfed the whole biotic and abiotic ecosystem. And well, the recent reports are to be believed, these microplastics are also now traced in the human blood. This sounds scary. Dr. Ranjan, now that you have worked so much in this field, would you like to start with the basic overview on the microplastics and how you see it through your lenses?
Yes. So if we talk about the microplastic, so first we like 2 days back or 3 days back, when I was searching, when the first research paper on the microplastic got published, then when I was searching through the Scopus, then I found that in the 2009, the very first research paper related with the microplastic got published, that was related with the personal environmental issues with the personal care product where microplastic is being used. So then 2009, then after and then the issue of the microplastics got first acknowledged by the during the G7 meet. That was held in the Brazil basically. And then when you go by the timeline how microplastics got identified by the various communities of the people. So after the G7 summit during in the 2015, that is basically acknowledged by the G7, the group of 7 countries basically. Then after 2015, you can see our government of India basically 2016 first plastic waste management rule came. In that things you can see government of India basically have increased the thickness of the plastic basically. So here basically government of India has target to to prevent the use of the plastic and to increase the recycling of the plastic. Basically, here still government of India, like the Indian, like in the ASEAN, basically they were unaware of the risk of the microplastic. So still they were trying to prevent the use of the plastic or to recycle the plastic. So earlier, before 2014, basically before 2016, basically when the solid waste management rule 2014 came, so there the minimum thickness of the plastic were 14 micron, I think, and before 2014 the minimum thickness of the plastic was 20 micron. So if you see the thickness of the plastic carry bag, how the thickness of the plastic carrying bag, the government is increasing. Earlier it was 20 micron, then 2014 they introduced it should be 40 micron. Then after the solid waste management rule 16 when it came, then the government told no, you have to increase the plastic thickness of the up to 50 micron. And then again when solid waste management rule 2021 amendment rule 2021 came, government told no, you have to increase from the 50 micron the plastic to 75 micron. Till I think they started to introduce that thickness of the plastic from September 2021 to 2022 till December. And then after 2022, I think 23 from then, the government told you have to increase the plastic thickness from 75 micron to 120 micron. So this is how government is trying to reduce the use of the plastic, the single use of plastic, and how we can increase the recyclability of the plastic. As you increase the thickness of the plastic, so better you can recycle that kind of plastic. And more approach of the government towards increasing the thickness is that, so that there will be a extra cost for increasing the thickness of the plastic. So somewhere government had also intention of that you have to minimize the use of the plastic, because there will be an increase in the cost of the plastic. So that is how government of India started acting towards the minimization of the single-use plastic, and like that. Even in the 2021 government of India, what they told, they also told to phase out the single-use plastic, like the where in the form of the cutlery or like the straw, wherever we are seeing that kind of plastic, government told you have to, like the thermocol, where thermocol plate or whatever we are seeing as a single-use plastic, government told you have to phase out all these kind of plastic. That was written in the 2020 plastic waste management rule, plastic waste management and amendment rule. So that is the initiative taken by the Indian government. If you talk about the global initiative, so they are like the far away from our approach, basically. So I think from the 2017, like after 2017, government has UNEP has started Clean Sea campaign. Clean Sea campaign, that campaign was to phase out all the single-use plastic and to reduce the intentionally added microplastics, like in the personal care product, or the like the toothpaste, where like the microbead is being used as a cleaner. So that how and even in the recently, I think you might be knowing, I think 6 to 7 months back, European Commission, basically they have strictly regulated the intentionally added microplastics. So one thing what you can see, the research, the kind of research related with the microplastic, as that research progresses, the European country, I think, in the including the US and Canada, what I am seeing, they are going parallel with the research basically. Suppose research came related with the microplastic, okay, microplastic being detected here, like in the lungs or placenta or the blood. So similarly, the government also started taking action related with what we can do further to prevent the emission of the microplastic basically. So this is how, but in the case of India, no doubt, India also taking initiative, like taking a step, various major steps, how we can prevent the use of the microplastic, how we can phase out the single-use plastic, how we can increase the recyclability of the plastic. But somewhere we are like the far uh, behind the European country or like the developed country like that. So that is the case of the microplastic. Yeah.
Thank you for the valuable insights. So allow me, can I just ask one question? Can you please elaborate on what pathways of exposure are most concerning for potential health risk associated with ingestions or inhaling of these particles? Are there any specific type of plastics or additives within a microplastic that pose greater health risks? And in addition, how do microplastic contaminate the food chain? And what are the, according to you, potential implications for human health through the consumption of contaminated seafood and other food products?
Yeah, actually, still research is being conducted related with the health impact basically. So there is no still there is no such evidences that that the problem is being caused due to only microplastic or additive. Because if you go to the, I think, to a 2018 report published by the WHO related with the microplastics, if you go to that report, they are confused due to the there is no standardized method for that, how you can detect the microplastic. If such a problem is coming from the plastic, then how will you know that that kind of problem is coming from that grade of the plastic, either LDP or the polypropylene or the PVC? So that kind of things are there. But still, because of the hydrophobic nature of the plastic, it can adopt organic contaminants, organic pollutants like PAH or PCB or like the heavy metals. So sure, there will be a health complication related with that, because once it is absorbed, once that kind of pollutant or like the heavy metals gets absorbed to the microplastics, and even we know that all these microplastic is consumed by the marine animals, and that thing ultimately goes to the human. It ultimately goes by the human consumption. So definitely there might be there will be some complication because of that microplastic. But still there is a research going on how whether that kind of issue is coming only from the heavy metals or only from the the pollutants absorbed in the microplastics, or like the only the plastic. So still that kind of research is going on. So still there is no such confirmation, but you can see in all the research paper where that microplastic has been there is no place in our body where microplastic has not been detected. So everywhere the microplastic has been detected, but the problem is how this microplastic, whether that kind of microplastic getting absorbed in the cell, and whether it is creating any problem to the cell or tissues. So that kind of research, as per my knowledge basically, so still going on.
Sir, since we have known so far about the microplastics, their presence and their sources. So I just wanted to ask that there are various sources of this microplastic. Let's say they come from industries or from microfiber sheddings or clothing, as you were saying that it comes from like packaging and food serving industries as well. So I just wanted to ask what innovative strategies or technological advancements are there in terms of the mitigative measures which are currently under development or in use for mitigating these microplastics in let's say soil, water or atmosphere as a whole, to ultimately stop them from entering into the food chain and then finding its way to the living ecosystem.
For mitigating microplastics thing, one and like the only one things like how we can prevent the use of the plastic first, because if you see the contribution of microplastic to the soil or like the water, so basically you can see 60 to 70% I think that microplastic comes from the, like the soil sources, basically the line source plastic, basically that is the secondary source of the microplastic. Rest of the plastic comes from the primary source of the plastic. So where so if we can prevent such kind of the plastic, because if we are able to prevent to enter into the ocean or in the soil, basically, so we can prevent such kind of issues coming from the microplastic from the consumption or like wherever it is, basically. So one thing is that how we can prevent the bigger size of the plastic to dispose into the soil or the water. So first is that. Secondary, once it is disposed into the water or like the soil, so how we can basically prevent the microplastic to further enter into the food chain or like that. So before coming to that point, what I can say that we should have a standard method for that, how much microplastic, basically. That's why I think last when you had organized the workshop, basically there I had told you we should have a standard code for the microplastic consumption, because we don't have a standard code for that, because we have a standard permissible limit for the heavy metals or whatever the contaminant already. So there is a standard limit for all the contaminants we have, but for the safe consumption of the microplastic, we don't have the standard permissible limit for that. So before going to that point, whether how we can prevent to coming into the food, basically. So first we have to develop the permissibility at what concentration of the microplastic we are that microplastic is safe for the consumption, basically. So once we develop the permissible limit for the microplastic, then we can think about the mitigation of the microplastic, because without developing the standard limit or that, if you are able, because if you go through various report, and then you can see there that I think 80 to 90% of the microplastic you can remove from the tertiary treatment. But the tertiary treatment, you don't know the size of the microplastic. It has gone, basically it went to the nano size of the plastic, basically. So once we focus, once we develop the what you can say, the standard permissible limit of the microplastic, we can further move on to the we have to reduce the microplastic emission to that level, so that it will be safe for consumption, basically. So it is like that, like you have to first develop the permissible limit, then we can think of we have to treat up to that level, because we without developing that permissible limit, if you are treating the microplastic, again you are saying we are able to remove the kind of treatment still that is available, because that I am also working here about in the removal of the how we can remove the microplastic from the system. There are already 2-3 techniques are there, like you can electrocoagulation method are there, like the even one more even by air flotation method you can remove that microplastic, but that the removal efficiency is not that much as it is needed basically. So that is the thing.
Thank you, sir, for your great insights about the mitigative measures that you just mentioned. Sir, so you talked about the usage of plastic as they're increasing also, and you mentioned that in India we have increased the micron size of plastics that have been used. But no regulations, as you mentioned, no regulations have been set as of now, and major policies are also yet to come related to the microplastic usage across India. So, what do you think, sir, in terms of policies? Where are we right now, and where does India need to go to be at a point wherein these microplastics are not harmful neither to the aquatic environment and neither to humans in general, sir?
One thing I can say you, like the 2-3 months back when I went to Hyderabad dump site, basically Hyderabad municipality, to collect some sample related. When I asked to that waste handling person whether you are getting 120 micron of plastic or not, because government already told from 2022 you have to use 120 micron plastic carry bag. When I asked him, he was saying that I am not able to get that kind of plastic if they are using. So that might be that should be in the waste things basically. So that, and they were saying still the kind of plastic, if you can see in your market as well, still the thinner plastic you can easily you can get from any of the market. Here I can say here in the Nagpur or in the in West Bengal I have seen still like the 20-40 micron thinner plastic carry bags, still they are in that kind of plastic are in use. So in the terms of policy, what I can say, implementation part, like the accurately they are making all the kind of effort, but the implementation, there is a lack in the implementers. They are not able to implement, like there should be a proper segregation or like that system, what kind of plastic is coming at which level. So there is a lack of the implementation at each level, I can say. And also government also introduced EPR. That is a good thing. So if EPR is implemented effectively to those owners who are producing like carry bag or like the packaging things, so that will be the good sign in preventing the unnecessary littering of the plastic, and then also increasing the recyclability of the plastic. So that is a good sign. That is the case of the policy basically. So that is the if we like the in the policy, that's a major thing basically, if you can implement, because the kind of things government is like the started doing, or like they are taking from all the countries, like whether from the Europe, all the policies what other countries are adopting, Indian government is like the accepting same thing, but major drawback is like the implementation part. So wherever I think I have visited more than 10 to 12 here in the Nagpur, like the ward and each level. So I am not able to get such kind of the plastic like the that thickness of the plastic, basically 120 micron. Okay, in the market already I started 120 micron thickness of the plastic. That is the major drawback of that.
Okay, sir, since we at IIT Jammu are working in the wastewater sector primarily, so I just wanted to ask about the current scenario of the presence of microplastics in wastewater, and if biological remediation is possible in that sector, or if you know any studies or lab scale or pilot scale studies going on in and around you for the same.
Yes. Yes, for the biological things, I think you people might be knowing, or government already told you have to you just you just start working on the bioplastic something. So even in the market you can see there is a plastic labeled of that on that plastic bioplastic, or like the oxidegradable plastic. So have you tried that plastic? Just you throw that plastic in the simple in the your area basically, and just you watch after like the 1 month or 2 months. So you will not see any changes even after 1 or 2 months. But they are claiming, oh, that is compostable and you can that can be easily compostable in the normal temperature. But that is a high temperature industrial composting. That kind of plastic basically you can compost at high temperature. So that is the you can't easily compost that kind of plastic, but already that is in the market. So that is also not the a good sign of that ki, okay, you are already started working on the bioplastic, so that is fully biodegradable. Because if you are developing the bioplastic simultaneously, you have to do composting like the at what time basically it degrades completely, like whether it is taking 15 days or 30 days, like that. When I got the sample from the CPCB, I think 2-3 kind of plastic sample I got in all the kind of plastic bag. There was a labeling of the oxy-biodegradable and the oxy-degradable and the composting plastic, like composted bioplastic, like the biocompost. So when I started, then when I analyzed these two kind of plastic through FTIR and all analysis, then I got to know that that is the not like, I think they might be mixing some portion of the like the biological things to like the petroleum product, I think. So that's why they are not easily biodegradable. But still, for the if we can like the develop such kind of plastic that can easily be biodegradable, and that plastic that plastic also should have strength capable of that single use plastic is having, then it will be good for the society and good for the environment basically. So that is the case basically, because only saying that is a biodegradable plastic, that will not help us in mitigating such kind of issue. So parallelly we have to do both the things in terms of in terms of research and like the first you suppose you have developed the bioplastic, then parallelly you also do how much time it takes for complete degradation of that. Because if it is not degrading, if it not degrading, then again it will go to the same waste things, and then started deteriorating again will come, and then again it appear as the microplastic. So it is.
Thank you again, Dr. Ranjan. Once again, on behalf of all of us, it was an absolute pleasure to have you here, and knowing the insights about the microplastics. You discussed the history, started with that and the origin of microplastic, when it was first introduced to the research fraternity, and covered the global perspective over. You also indicated the timeline, how it emerged and how we came to know, eventually the impacts and influence covering the microplastics, and also the insight on government approach on how the plastic waste management has evolved, post its initiation in both national as well as the international context. Unfortunately, due to non-standard regulations in most part of the world, we do understand that the impact of microplastic has taken a step back, in the sense that, at some places, it may be overestimated with the impact and influence, and some places we may see their underestimation. The mitigation of microplastic, was also highlighted by you, wherein the prevention of the plastic usage at the source was given a top priority, how we can reduce the usage of the big plastics and unregulated plastic basically. And Dr. Ranjan, it was also emphasized by you that we must work towards standardizing these microplastics to better decipher the relevant impact and progress towards the mitigation measures, so that we can formulate the policy plan and program likewise. So Also, heard some ground level challenges that you have taken up. And, I personally feel that can be taken up as a case study to formulate better
Yes.
plans for the microplastic management in all forms of the ecosystem, whether it's land, whether it's a biotic system like we humans or the animals. And I hope, Dr. Ved, that since we are running out of time, and it was absolutely pleasure for us to have you here, and we expected and wish we could have spent some more time, but I'm sure that you won't mind that I share your contact with our online audiences in case they want to contact you to gain further insights on microplastic.
Yes. Sure. You can share to all the audience wherever they are feeling like any kind of doubt or problem. So I am ready to help, because that is a new area basically. So if we can discuss more and more, we can get more and more basically. So microplastic is basically the emerging area. So if we the discussion is more important than the research basically. So if we discuss more and more, we'll get more, and then we can start the research on that direction. I think yesterday one more colleague from here, I think NEERI, approached me regarding how really microplastic is problematic for our environment. So they have shared one article, one article from I think abroad, one of the professor. They were saying the microplastic is not as harmful as they are projecting basically. So it is because then I for that colleague, when I interacted to that colleague, I told him so it depends, because it is not like that. If you look at the global picture basically, so microplastic, we are exaggerating the problem, but really it is a big problem basically, because if you see from the global perspective basically, if you see from the global perspective and you combine all the problems, so exactly microplastic problem may have the less significant, but the impact of microplastic giving to the environment is more than the other, because they have shared one data related with the material used for the different kind of thing basically, the data what they had shared. So they wanted to project like that the microplastics impact to the environment is less than the other materials like the ceramic. They have basically shown me one pie chart. So the plastic impact to the environment, they were saying 1%. Then I convinced to that person that 1% is bigger than basically the 99%, because 1%, because just you can compare with the heavy metals thing now, because say the chromium permissible limit or the cadmium permissible, that is 0.05 whatever the permissible limit. See, if you go by the number, so 0.05 is very less as compared to others number. Okay, so then I convinced that person, okay, so their impact, because exactly their contribution to the environment is very less, but their impact to the environment is as much as high as compared to other. So then they got convinced, okay, that really, because microplastic is everywhere, it is getting detected, but due to the absence of standardization and the permissible limit, we can't comment on that. Okay, so really it is not harming to the society or like that. Once that things will come, automatically all things will be clear. Okay, after that permissible limit of things, that kind of problem getting started.
Right, and I think the impact is totally irrelevant until we delve into that and get the right data supported by the right regulation and standards, of course. Wow, Dr. Ranjan, once again, thank you so much, and we'll stay in touch, of course, and have a very nice evening, and special bye to you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you all of you for giving
Thank you, sir.
opportunity again to
Thank you, sir.
Wherever you people are feeling doubt, just you touch with me, and we can discuss about that.